Hi everyone. Today we are going to review how the answer scripts of LLB are evaluated by KSLU. Once you see the marks and the answer script, you will get an idea how to answer the questions. I'll also tell you some of the mistakes that needs to be avoided by you guys. Even though the question pattern has changed, but the methodology of writing is the same. I'm going to suggest my view based on the photocopy of my answer script that I received from the university. The first two semester I was not satisfied with the marks which I received because I was scoring only 40 marks out of 100 even though I've written very well in a few subjects. So in the third semester I opted to take a photocopy to see whether how will they're evaluating and what is the method of their evaluation. So this is a review of answer script of subject law of taxation. We'll go with the paper. See, this is the first page of any answer sheet. In the last column, they've given the marks. So out of 16 marks, in the second question, they've given me 10, 12, 10, and 6 marks. So for a short note, they've given me 4 and 6 marks, and for a problem question, they've given me 0 and 4 marks. So what are the questions they asked? Let me see. So these are not all the questions in the question paper. These are the questions which I have answered. So they'll give you almost 9 questions in that we are supposed to answer 5 main questions and 2 problem questions. I've answered them. Now the first question we'll see how I've written. This is the incidence of income tax depends on the residential status of an assignee. So I've written how many pages? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 pages. I've written totally 6 pages. In this, I initially I've given an introduction, and after that, I went ahead with describing what is residential status, residential individual, ordinary resident, non-ordinary resident. So I've given too much of introduction, I think. So maybe that's why they have not given me full marks because I felt I will be scoring almost 16 marks in this. But the actual answer to the question starts from here, the fourth page, fourth, then fifth, and sixth page. So even though you've studied a lot, you cannot write everything as it is. You are supposed to restrict your answer to the question as much as possible. If you are not getting enough points, then you can go with the other things what you have read. So for this question, they have given me 10 marks. We'll see where it is. See, question 2, they've given me 10 marks. Now, question 3, they've given me 12 marks. Let us see, I've written a better answer for this. For question 3, I've written for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've written only 4 pages. They've given me 12 out of 16 marks. Here, one difference what I've seen is, see, I've restricted my introduction to one paragraph. After that, my answer starts here. Then in the third paragraph, I've written answer point wise A, B, C, D, E. So here I cover 5 points. Then if you go to next page, A, B, C, D, E, F, I cover 6 points. So maybe the evaluator felt that I've covered most of the points in this. So if you write like this, like point wise, or maybe they find it very easy to read and give marks. Maybe that is the reason why they've given me 12 marks out of 16 marks. Now we'll go to next question. Explain the importance of place of supply under CGST and now let me see what marks they've given me. They've given me 10 marks for this. How many pages I've written? One, two, three, 4, 5. Okay, I've written 5 pages. Okay. Here also introduction, I've restricted to one to two paragraph. I started with the answer after that. Maybe I've not written too many sections or articles. They didn't give me that many marks, I think so. Maybe they've just given me 10 marks out of 16, but I've written as many points as possible. So make sure you underline whatever you have written, whatever points is you feel is very important. Like here I've written like value addition, input tax credit, such things which you feel are. Then I've given a conclusion also. So even though I've written 5 pages, they've given me 10 marks. They expect you to write the sections or articles, all those things. If you know it, write, or else don't give a wrong articles or sections. Then it may they may not give you that much marks. Then we will go to the next question. Next is short notes. For short notes consist of three short notes. In that we are supposed to answer two short notes. I've answered two short notes, but here I've taken only one. See, for short notes, for second B, they've given me 6 marks out of 8 marks. So for a one short note, they give you 8 marks. So let me see how was the answer. See, this is the short notes. I've just finished my introduction in two paragraphs and directly went ahead with the answer. And which are the bills, bill number I've written, I've underlined it. See, I've written under which schedule it comes under which article it comes to. Constitutional Amendment Act 101. I've underlined that so that they are it's prominent when they are correcting. So totally I've written how many? One, two, 3 pages I've written. For 3 pages they've given me 6 marks out of 8 marks. That's really a decent marks. Anyone can expect. And then I go to problem section. See this problem, first problem what is asking is like a person, senior citizen who is earning 3,20,000 and his take home has 2,85,000. And, should he file an income tax return? My assumption was someone who is earning about 2,50,000 should be paying the tax. Hence, my conclusion was, yeah, you should file an income tax. But actually, the answer is the senior citizen gets a benefit till 3 lakh rupees. Only after 3 lakh they are supposed to file income tax return. Even though I've written in a correct format, like I've given a fact. Fact is nothing but the same question. You summarize it and write it in your own words. Issue is what is the question they are asking in the problem. That is the issue, and under which rule this question comes. That is what you are supposed to write. If you know the section, you write the section. If you know the article, you write the article. Or if you know just which part it comes from, we can write it. I didn't know the which article it comes, but I know it just comes under Income Tax Act, so I've written just Income Tax Act. So under Income Tax Act, how the taxes are applicable, I've given a brief analysis under analysis section, that is saying that everyone who is earning about 2,50,000 should be paying tax, and ladies get some uh, discounts. All these things I've written, and my final conclusion was that he was supposed to file income tax return. They have not given me any marks for this. The only thing, the conclusion was wrong. So I thought that at least they would give me some marks for what I've written for my effort, but they have not given me any marks. So make sure your conclusion is correct. Now the second question is, see, the second question, the same pattern I've used. I've given the section name and all, and I've given the fact, what is the issue of the problem, and I've analyzed a bit, and I've given the conclusion. So out of 10 marks, they've given me 4 marks. So maybe they expect me to write a few more pages. Like maybe instead of writing just 2 pages, you might go and write 3 or 4 pages. Analyze those things. In the analysis part, you can include some more points and give some more examples or case laws or something like that. That may give you more marks. And some things which you need to avoid is, when you're what I heard from my lecturers is, I heard like some students write the sub margins here within these margins. In this margin, you should have only the question number, nothing else. This A, B, C, everything, 1, 2, all these things should come after the margin. If you see my paper, I have not written anything before the margin. Only the question number I would have written. See, here I've written only the question number. After that, whatever sub point should come only after the margin. Because if you're writing the subtopics within the margins, it may confuse the evaluator. You may not evaluate your answer sheet. See, sometimes you may not get the points. You may not be able to write like points A, B, C, D. You have something like that. You can write in paragraph, no problem. But you make sure that within the paragraph, if you feel there is some sentence or some words which are very important, make sure you underline that. Like here, I have underlined like GST Council, or some articles which you have written, or some amendment act or something like that. Then it will be catchy to the evaluator. And one more thing, if you are leaving any pages, make sure you do a right please turnover, because in this page I was not remembering a lot of points, so I left a page and proceeded to write the next question. Then after that, I remembered points and then came back and wrote all this answer. So is the PTO. You write the PTO only if the page is blank, else you don't have to write the PTO. PTO means page turnover. So this is the evaluation of my law of income tax, law of taxation, my third semester. Let us thank you for listening to this. Hope this helps you guys. Take care. Goodbye.